Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ravenous. We are a small indie dev team who aims to tell stories and make fun games. I am Critical Methods, the game designer and community manager for the team, and I really do hope you enjoy our first ever devlog for the game Alone I Rise, a fast paced, dungeon crawling boomer shooter adjacent game. So let's sit back, relax, and listen to the rest of the team as they walk us through what they've done so far.
Hi, this is Canon from Ravenous. I'm the lead programmer of the project Air, Alone I Rise. I've been in the industry for more than 10 years doing software architecture and implementation. Here on the project Air, I do the software architecture and help out with implementation. Air will be a boomer shooter where you get to pick your character class and fight your way up through different levels of a dungeon. So for the first 2 weeks, we blocked out a level and worked mostly focus on the combat, helper implementation, projectile spawning and damage exchange. We also implemented the data table driven stats component where each class should get different startup stats later on. We also did an experience system where the players should get to do freely distribute the stats points and pick new skills from the skill tree. Also a loot system is in place where the chests spawn items which would give special powers to the characters. So the plan for the next 2 weeks is to make the AI smarter, integrate the experience system to the character, and also implement an inventory component so the player can put the stuff he picks there. That will be it for now, stay tuned for more.
My name is French Fry. I'm a gameplay programmer for Ravenous, and right now I'm working on the combat systems mainly for Alone I Rise. So, for our game, with what we have so far, when you boot it up, you'll see we have a test scene, and then we have an enemy coming and attacking. My job is mainly to work on the combat, so you'll see we have the projectile on mouse click, and then this week I set up a block where if you right click to toggle, it'll slow you down, and we'll have to tweak these movement numbers. It's just slowing down a lot so that I can very easily see that it's working. Right now there's a funny little bug that when we get hit, the game just immediately shuts out. So that's why I was dodging all that time. Yes, so good news is one of the other programmers was very good with documentation, so I can see where the problem is. I don't know why it's happening, but at least I know where it is. But we'll see. What I did this week was I mainly set up the blocking, and part of that came with the state machine, where what we're going to do for movement is the player will be set to one of these different states at any given time. So instead of having to check if the player's idle, if the player's currently blocking, if the player's attacking, we only have to check whatever the state variable is to determine what actions we can take. So that's mainly what I've been working on this week. I don't think there's anything else that I need to show off, so that's mainly it. For the next couple weeks, right now, obviously I need to look at that bug and see why the stats aren't loading in. And then once I have that looked at and hopefully done, then right now, if you'll see when I go to block, there's no visual indicator for blocking. So I'm gonna mock up probably like some sort of visual indicator so we could see that a little easier. And then work on like the damage. I don't know if we want to do damage reduction or just like complete damage negation. So I'll have to discuss with the other programmers and designers and see what we want to do with that. But that's the plan for the next week. So.
Hi, I guess. I'm John. I am a level designer for Ravenous. I've been doing level design and just general game development since 2022, I'd say. Or no, 2021 actually. And yeah. That's how it do, for me. what do I have to do with what do I have to do for procedural generation? Basically, what we have to do is figure out how we want to do the procedural generation. Basically, we get like little chunks of environment, probably, and figure out the best way to piece them all together once we have like a level design in mind for like basically how we want the levels to be generated. From a code thing, it depends exactly, or from a code stand base, it really depends on like, you know, if it's more like a grid or if we want it to be like a more organically created level design thing. So I will figure that out as I work on the project.
I'm Kieran, and I am one of the programmers that are part of Ravenous. And currently, I've been working on the XP/leveling system, which took me a lot longer. Well, not so much the work; took a long time. Just busy outside of development work. I will share my screen. Like I say, it's not much, but it is something at least. Obviously, this all needs to be integrated properly with everything else that we've worked on so far. But right now, this is like the UI that I'm sort of rocking with, and I made my own scene that that's combined the AI/player character work that everybody else has been working on. So if we were to run it, for example, obviously I've not got any enemies in the scene because I need to implement XP gaining from enemies, which I haven't done yet, but it shouldn't take too long. But if you were to see on the screen, that I've got a button set up that gives you a lot of XP, and the XP will go up. And then if you could lose XP, and you can reset XP, and you can see the levels going up. And then if you see here, you're currently getting stat points that are going to be used once I actually fully implement it. They're going to come on the stats page, and then you can upgrade some of your stats and stuff like that. So, like I said, not got too much, but it's just been busy. But it won't take me long to get this all integrated, and then I can move on to whatever the next task is.
So I'm Jupiter. I'm Jupiter. I'm a game artist. I have a degree in game art, and I have worked on a couple of small projects throughout my life. I in Ravenous, I am the lead artist, especially 2D art. Right now, I'm working on designing the whole look for the game. Gosh, well, mainly figuring out how the whole game's gonna look. I've been creating a bunch of mood boards, asking other artists like what would they like to see, um, what what would they expect to see in this type of game, and yeah, we just finished figuring out how the characters are gonna look. We're moving on to figuring out how they will look in a 3D background to make sure that it all looks very nice and it works for the gameplay. Um, okay, so I'm at Jupiter Zombie and I post a bunch of drawings and different projects I have. I have a little archery project and all the small game projects that I work on and my illustrations. You can find them in my Instagram or in my TikTok in Rules from Jupiter. And one of the people helping me is at Eddie K Prince, and he mainly does 3D printing, but he's gonna be helping us a bunch with the 3D engine.
So my name is Sean. I do the sound design for the game that we're releasing, Alone I Rise, and then the other games that we made for the game jam. Everything that isn't the music that you hear, basically, I did that. And then my experience previously doing audio has mostly been like with bands. I've ran bands in like recording studios, and then I've like done sound for musicals. Currently, I do audio for like weddings and stuff like that. So it's a lot of live sound that I'm more used to. But just recently, I've really kind of been sinking my teeth into more post-production stuff, audio for games, and just doing a bunch of game jams. Basically, anything that I can get my hands on, I've been doing. So that was just for the visual. Overall, I think we placed like 30th
That's
around there out
pretty
of
good.
out of like 140. It was pretty
Oh,
good.
that's really good.
Yeah, and then before that, I did the audio and the music for a game called Smushrooms, where basically it's like a game where there's a bunch of mushrooms that poke their heads up whack-a-mole style, and some are poisonous, some are not, and there's like a guide that show you which ones are poisonous and which ones aren't. So you kind of like read the guide, collect the right mushrooms, and we made that one for the Cozy Fall Jam, and we placed like 26th out of like 160 or 150 or something like that.
That's also
And
really good.
So like here's kind of a fireball with 3 layers that I've been working with. I'll probably add another one with a little bit more crackliness, kind of like make it sound a little bit more fiery. But essentially what's going on is there's a kind of like a whoosh underneath it. Kind of like a fling, kind of like a low reverberated fling. And then this sort of tail off the end with it sort of like a, what do they call that? Kind of Doppler affecting, kind of flying away. So once you combine it all together, you got that nice sort of, full sound. And it's also all being ran through the same reverb over here. So everything kind of sounds like it's in the same place. It's all got the same reverberations. And then more or less the same thing over here. This one's a little bit more punchy. Oops. So that one kind of builds a little bit quicker. This is a cool little crackly. It's like fire sound I took from like a bonfire. And then that whoosh again. Yeah. Yeah, so there's those are pretty basic. And once again, I'm not too far along in this process. Normally, like my session for the other games, I can show you it's like full all the way throughout. And then up here, and then here we kind of got ambience being built. So kind of like sticking with like a low wind going through a tunnel.
Yeah.
Then there's like some more rocky sounds because it's in like a dungeon. Rocks getting kicked around or like mysterious rocks in the background. And then there's wind will kick in, some water down here. And largely what I do when I'm chopping up ambience is I kind of like build out this sort of like environment here. Using similar elements, kind of pitching things down and up. So if like I opened up Melodyne and I pulled up like this, this is a good example. You can see there's different sounds and I'm pitching them differently. So like this one is 2 octaves. 2 octaves above this one. So you can kind of hear like, wait, what sound is this? Oh, that's this rock. Let me solo that. So you can kind of hear that one sounds obviously deeper than that one prior. Just kind of add some variety. Our ears are very good about hearing something repeated over and over and over. So like, it just sounds like the same thing happening over and over. But if you were to move this down like 2 octaves, this one up a few semitones, this like up an octave, this up a few semitones, it almost sounds like a few different effects happening.
It does.
But really, you're just getting a lot of mileage out of the exact same sound.
I see where you're coming from, but it's also still very quiet.
Yeah. This channel here, I can crank it. Whoa. Is that better?
Oh, much. It's so much better.
Okay, cool. Also, this is a little too similar to that very first one. Let me set it here.
Real-time footage of the mastermind at work.
In like the background, it's not as important. A lot of this, your brain isn't really paying attention to, so like, it's not going to matter as much. But with like weapons and stuff like that, I'm just gonna, as an example. For example, the way I kind of mix is it's a bit messy. You'll see them all just sort of on, overlapping each other. Yeah, nothing's playing just yet. Okay. So for some dialogue sounds that weren't implemented, those are like some pain sounds. I actually had my friend do some voices. And then you can kind of see what I was doing with the pitch here to kind of differentiate them. This one I kind of gave the tail a little bit of a, a fun little dance. Right there. Here's some fury sounds. Those are pitched a lot higher, kind of distorted to make it a little bit more inhuman. These wing flaps kind of have two things going on. So one, you have kind of like the initial just flap, and then two is you have this swoosh. So kind of like a little dash sound to kind of make it feel like it's got a little bit of purpose behind it. Then what was here? I think this. Sorry, that was really loud. This one is like their whip attack. And that one's got a lot more going on.
That's really clean.
Yeah, so it's got like this build up, right? And so that kind of just brings you in here. This part it's just a kind of standard whip sound that I pulled from a library. This one, literally just a gunshot that I pitched down a little bit, and I increased the bass frequencies in there. And then that's another whip that is just being stacked on top of that one to make it really, punchy. Because I wanted that to be like, ouch! Whips are cool. This is one of the bosses.
What about the teleport?
So this is the boss getting injured.
Ooh.
Yeah, because he's real like robotic-y, kind of evil. And then over here, this is one of my favorite audio design tricks that I've learned. Is this a bird right here? This bird. So it's a cassowary. Cassowaries sound like dinosaurs. I don't know, why, but they do.
I'm very, very familiar with cassowaries.
Yeah, they're super cool. Whoops. So like their calls just normally are like super low. So when I want to make something like really sound like wide and big, I'll like throw a cassowary behind it. So like this, I think is the teleport. I believe this is the teleport.
That's
So like the cassowary
that's
makes it
such a
really
neat
like
trick.
deep. Yeah, cassowaries are really crazy. Then here's more of the same sort of teleporter sounds.
I love that.
Hell yeah.
As a bird
And then
appreciator, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this.
and then where was
Ooh, those all sound really nice.
yeah, one oh, I think this one here. I actually used what was that?
You could probably take a lot of these and put them in Alone I Rise for magic for spell sounds.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I honestly
Um
would. Like
I probably will. I really like the way the bosses things turned out, which they're a little bit more complex, but they were really fun to make.
they're really, really
This
really
one,
clean sounding.
thank you, thank you. I actually got you made I think an offhanded comment, and I really liked your idea because you were like, I kind of want the shockwave to be like a bass drop. So
Oh, so I
one of these,
brought up the anime bass noise before. That's so
yeah,
good.
so 2 layers of this are bass drops from like songs.
That's
And when you
so
throw it all
good.
together, they're like
I love that
shockwave
so much.
sounds,
That
you know?
sounds so clean. Honestly, that is like the best. Just anything really bassy like that is immediately got my favor.
Yeah. I got kind of like what I was envisioning is if you've seen Invincible, the doctor with like those gauntlets. I don't
Dr.
know if you've seen
Seismic?
Invincible. Yeah, Doctor Seismic. You know, kind of the way his things kind of like charge up and then boom, you know, they kind of like reverberate. That's
Yeah,
kind of like what I was going
that's
for with
so
like this.
good.
So,
That's so good.
so they kind of like charge up a little bit and then uh
Yeah, we could
yeah,
absolutely use that for a spell
hell
in
yeah.
Alone I Rise.
Awesome. And then these are just like lasers.
Those lasers sound incredibly magical, and we should reuse those too.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and then you know more of it's basically the same. You know, you get ideas and then you mess with them, and then they sound cool, and you go, "Huh? How do I make this sound as like different from what I want it to?" You know what I mean? Like, you go in with a cassowary and you make it a laser beam. You know, it's you just kind of you just mess around, and it's really fun. It's very cool sometimes.
That is really
Other
awesome.
times you do you put a bunch of things together and they do not want to go together at all, so you have to just restart. So next couple weeks. Currently I am in the Game Off 2025 Game Jam. We're making a like it's a platformer about like emotions, and the theme of the jam is waves. So what I kind of wanted to do, and this has been a very very big workload, um, is have an adaptive soundtrack. I've never made an adaptive soundtrack before. We're using Fmod
Ooh.
to kind of make the soundtrack be affected by the emotions your character is currently feeling in that moment. A lot of the mechanics are based off of emotion, so the soundtrack and the art kind of will be adjusted by it as well. So, like, you know, as your anger builds up, there's some chuggy guitars that kind of kick in. As you build, I like fascination. You know, it's a little bit more melodic, kind of airy. Sorrow is a little bit slower. Uh, so yeah, there's that's gonna be really fun to make. It's like I said, it's a lot, but it's been really cool. And then alongside that, really it's gonna be a lot of you know building out the sound effects for this game. I want to try making a lot of it using my mouth. That's something I've never really tried. Well, I've tried it a couple times before. Really cool about. Have you heard of the game The Ghost of Yote?
I
It's
have.
like
It's the
Ghost of
new one, right?
Tsushima. Yep, yeah, that's the new one. So, both in the Ghost of Tsushima and the Ghost of Yote, those birds in that game, those are people. Do you know that?
I did not. And I
Uh,
also didn't play the game, so I wouldn't have no
I didn't
opinion
play
on
the
that.
game either. Yeah, I didn't play the game either. But essentially, what a lot of practices do, a lot of people do when they're making these sound effects, is you find a bird that you like throw it into a spectrogram where you can like read out the frequencies, and you slow it down by like 3 or 4 times, and then you pitch it down, and you play it back, and you listen to it, and then you kind of just because obviously birdsong you can't recreate with your mouth just alone, or if you can, it's like a very niche skill set. But once you pitch it down, once you slow it down, it's a lot easier to make. So you kind of recreate those sounds with your mouth. It's not too tough, and then essentially you do the reverse. You speed it up, you pitch it up, and it sounds just like a bird. It's what they did in that game. You can't tell. It sounds just like a bird. So I plan on doing some of that with like the fireball sound effects. I kind of want to do that with the lightning too. I feel like that'll be like really really cool. I have some cool ideas for that. And then yeah, kind of just getting through the grind, making a bunch of sounds. Um, I am very, very pumped to get this demo out. I think it's going to be so freaking cool. Um, Big shout out to firstly you. You've done a crazy amount of work gathering everyone together, being the organizer, and that's freaking awesome. And also, just honestly, shout out to the guy doing the music, Salty. Just genuinely one of the coolest people I've met online in the community. Me and him have been shooting back like different opportunities and stuff like that. And so, I mean, that's what it's all about. Just finding people that you drive with and, sharing with each other.
Don't shout
So,
me out.
yeah.
Don't shout me out.
Well, too bad. So sad.
I'm Alex. I'm doing music right now. I've just been working on some little experiment things, and we met from a game jam. Well, we met in a previous thing, but we're working together now because of a game jam, which I did the music and intros, like animation for.
Fire, by the way.
And I've just been playing with sounds lately, trying to experiment. I was recently going to try and run the piano through like a phaser to get a certain sound, but that might be for the next devlog.
Well,
Here, let me
I'm excited to see that.
open
Regardless,
here. I just played the piano. I recorded the MIDI. It's not really a particular timestamp since it's just I did one take on it. And you want me to play it? It's No, it's all good. Yeah, I can send you the audio file for that. So that was just like a little thing I was playing with. Really it's nothing too crazy. It's pretty simple for what it is. I was also just like messing around with like a couple that like here. I'll pull up it's not a full song, but it's got some nice sounds in it that
Okay.
I'm working with right now. Let me see here. I gotta pull it up.
This one goes hard. Oh yeah, this is a good. Oh yeah, there's the drum.
I'm gonna skip ahead because that's just a loop. It's
You're
not
good.
really gonna sound like this when it drops. It's
Yeah. I figured. Ooh.
get the gist. Yeah.
I like how it just randomly switches songs in the song. I love that.
Thank you. The part more specifically that I think would be relevant was this over here because I really wanted to try something like this over here again. So here. Okay, awesome. Something like that.
Hell yeah, love that. I
And
love
this morning,
pianos in general. Like, I'm just biased towards pianos.
thank you. This morning as well, I came up with something, and it might be interesting to use for the project, but it should go something like this, if I can remember. Where are the chords? Okay, I got it. You get the gist. I played it better earlier, but you know, I was playing with those
I
melodies.
really like that.
Thank you, thank you. Maybe I'll send you like a recording of the actually okay performance I did. But it was just like a nice little melody I came up with. It was kind of inspired by Night Rain, but like just this simple like.
Move on to the.
Hello, my name is Talo, and I work with HouseCat on the narrative team of Ravenous. Most of my background is in the fanfiction world of all things. You can blame COVID for that. But more recently, I worked on the narrative direction for our most recent game jam project. Wired Liar is what it was called. It was an Orpheus game. And now me and HouseCat are working together on the narrative direction for Alone I Rise. Most of that part of the project will remain clandestine for the moment, but we look forward to sharing our secrets with you in the future.